Hello and welcome back to the much delayed but final part to the Ferrari SF90 Spider by Alpha Model. Now this is the final assembly. Firstly, you've got these exhaust parts here which fit onto this little plate. I've done the exhausts in silver with the interior in black, and the plate you won't see once this all goes together. Now the door cards, which you can see here, need to fit into the bodywork of the car here, between the headrests at the back and the dashboard in front. As the bodywork is now largely finished, it was time to add the photo etch parts. There are a lot of vents and things like that, many of which I painted black, but these radiator grille things which go on the inside of the front I left in the bare metal. It's always important to test fit these before adding any glue. There's 3 of these that go along the front, as you can see here. Now for the grills that go on the front of it, it's really important to get the shape right as possible. This needs to be bent around the pointed corner on the far left or the far right of the grill, and just test fit it as much as possible. The bend needs to be quite pronounced to get the shape correct. It would have been useful to have a sort of bending tool to get these to be exactly right, as this took me quite some time. But as I said before, try and get that corner into the edge as best as possible. Then when I was happy with it, it was painted black and then glued into place. You can see first the radiators are going into place. I used foam safe super glue here so as to not damage any of the paint. Then you've got the central part here. And the one on the front left. Then the radiators went on top of that. It's important to get that corner on the far left or far right in first. It's important to test fit it before adding any glue. Here you can see how a bit of foam safe super glue was used around that corner where it sort of joins in, and there's a bit of a lip at the top and the bottom. It's quite small, so try and be as careful as possible. There we are. Now for these rear ones, you want to try to shape them around the curve as best as possible. The diagrams don't show these parts very well, so look at examples of the real car as well. And then there's smaller photo etch parts like these which go on some of the rear lights. These will have small red clear parts that go on the top of them. Now when fitting the floor, it's important to add the rear diffuser before that. Make sure you test fit all of this first, as I found that it needed a bit of modification. Now you can drill holes to attach this with screws that are supplied, but I've chosen not to do that and instead to glue this on. So here you can see I'm using some super glue quite liberally in places, but I want the floor to be as secure as possible. And just turning it over to make the weight of the car push it down into place. The wheels were constructed in the previous part. It's important to attach them to the correct hubs, as the rear wheels are wider than the front wheels. Just like the other things, these were super glued into place and just held to make sure that they cured nicely. Now for the headlights, there are two clear sort of bulbs which go on either side, and also several chrome horizontal strips to replicate the sort of LED elements in the headlights. Just as before, these were super glued very carefully. Here you can see how they look without the lenses, and then you've got the clear lenses which go on top. These may need to be sanded to fit as securely as possible, so give them a test fit to start to make sure that you're happy. You've also got the central brake light which goes on the spoiler at the back. This was painted clear red from Tamiya. There's a small window which goes here just behind the drivers. I found that this didn't need any glue, it just slipped into place. And there's also these small triangular windows which go just behind the doors. You can add windows on the doors as well, but I chose to leave them off on mine. There's also a lot of chrome stickers in this, including this for the rear view mirror, and this Ferrari logo which goes on the rear spoiler. Now there's also a photo etch one that you can use for this place, but I preferred how this looked. Pushing it down as carefully as possible with a cotton bud and then peeling off the backing. I'm pretty happy with that. Now the window for the engine cover has a small gap towards the front, but give it a test and then glue down one side and make sure that that is nice and secure before then adding glue to the other side. There's a very slight curve in this, and if you glue down both sides at the same time, it won't be particularly secure. Just holding this to make sure, and that's how it looked when it was finished. Now then, the number plate has got the logo on, but I'm also going to add the decal to that over the top. There's a couple of little position pieces to hold the number plate on, and that's how it looks like with the decal. Here's me attaching the rear view mirror to the inside of the windscreen. Had to be very, very careful to do this. Had to be sort of threaded around the inside to keep that rear view mirror in place. And just like before, I am gluing this onto one side first, making sure that's secured, and then gluing on the other side afterwards. Here now it's attached, and I've also added the wing mirrors. Now one of the final parts is to do the wiper blades. Now if you don't have a photo etch bending tool, some sort of flat-ended tweezers like these can be really useful. What I'm doing is I'm gluing these all together first, and then once they're all in one piece, I'll then spray them black. It's very careful and quite difficult to do this, but just be patient with it, and they should look pretty good at the end. Here they are painted black, and I'm giving them a test fit first to make sure I'm happy with the positions. There's no holes or pinpoints for these, so you need to sort of make the judgment for yourself. The longer one goes on the driver's side. Once happy with those, glue it into place, and there it is, it's finished. This is easily the most contemporary car that I've ever made. It's got a really dynamic, aggressive look, and it's really a sign that Ferrari are moving into the 21st century. Let me know what you think down below, what colours you would have painted it. Again, thank you very much to Alpha Model for providing me this kit to build. It's been a real learning curve getting to grips with a resin model, and something that I recommend all model builders do at some point to sort of really expand their skills and repertoire. Thanks a lot for watching. Please do leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. Like, share and subscribe, hit the bell icon to stay notified, and I'll see you soon.